Platform for New York City Mayor 2017. End poverty and violence once and for all. Create lasting economic and social prosperity. Dear fellow New Yorkers, are you extremely frustrated, like I am, by the persistent failure of our mayors over decades and decades to end New York City's poverty and violence? And are you extremely frustrated by the prospect of having more and more mayors in the future with no real lasting solutions, with only empty slogans and vague, flimsy platforms? If so, please take the time to hear me out. My name is Edward Sonino. If I receive sufficient support, I will run for mayor of New York City in the November 2017 election because I am convinced that my platform has the definitive solutions for eliminating New York City's poverty and violence once and for all, and for making New York the most economically and socially prosperous city in the world. Importantly, those solutions would be applicable nationwide. No serious, comprehensive, detailed platform with real, lasting solutions can be reduced to just a few paragraphs or some slogans. So, I hope you will be willing and interested to hear my entire platform, which is a few pages long. The policies contained in my platform are very different from the failed Democratic and Republican policies of the past half-century. I hope you'll be interested to carefully consider my platform and then be persuaded that it is the platform New York City has always needed, and finally that you'll want to give me your enthusiastic support. While it might seem to be a liberal platform by emphasizing spending on education and other social measures, it is actually an enlightened capitalism platform. It is pro-growth and pro-business, recognizing that economic prosperity is essential, while understanding that social prosperity is just as essential, since it enhances economic prosperity and leads to much lower taxation. New York City taxes have been high precisely because of our severe social problems. With enlightened policies, we can achieve the lofty goal of ending poverty and violence in New York once and for all, and making New York the most livable and beautiful city in the world with the lowest taxes much faster than most people imagine possible. The right platform for New York City is a win-win platform, not a zero-sum platform pitting one class against another. My platform is intended to be a win-win platform. The way to end poverty is not by soaking the rich. A prosperous New York needs many wealthy people along with the elimination of poverty. That can be achieved with the right approach. I hope you'll be persuaded that my platform truly contains the solutions for New York. Obviously, my candidacy is a long shot since I have no name recognition. So, I need lots of help. If you are enthusiastic about my platform, you should help publicize it, share it with your friends and colleagues, and volunteer your support. Otherwise, we will continue to be saddled with Republican and Democratic mayors with no solutions, and no major progress will ever be attained. Here is my platform for New York City Mayor in the November 2017 election. 1. Prioritize ending the dropout phenomenon and the low graduation rate and ending poverty. Ending the dropout phenomenon and the low graduation rate requires having firm discipline and lots of homework in all our public schools, both of which are non-existent in most public schools. It also requires providing those students in academic difficulty with extra instruction, including individual tutors and mentors, and study hall. I know this from personal experience, as I volunteered teaching economics and investing to students in various failing New York City public high schools. Furthermore, the public school curriculum must be optimized for our complex 21st century world and for the very competitive globalized economy in order for all our students to become highly productive, creative, and employable. The curriculum must include 4 years of psychology and group therapy classes in all high schools in order to have well-adjusted youth, to end violence, and to greatly improve parenting. There must be high-quality, daily, after-school activities, including on weekends, during vacations, and during the summer, in sports and the arts, in order to prevent our underprivileged youth from spending time on the streets. All our public schools must be great, not just good schools, with 25 students per class maximum, with highly qualified, highly motivated teachers, and with a leading world-class curriculum. How can all that be paid for? First, by prioritizing. Second, by insisting that the federal government participate in the financing through QE. If QE was done to help the banks, why shouldn't it also be done for education? And for infrastructure improvements, and to finance tax rebates in order to increase consumer income and consumption when the economy is weak. Third, by having philanthropic organizations contribute to the financing of the first program capable of eliminating poverty, violence, and crime once and for all, which will be a model for all cities. 2. Have a police academy with the highest standards in order to have extraordinarily well-trained police and avoid the use of excessive force. Greatly increase neighborhood policing to ensure all neighborhoods are safe. 3. Turn New York City into a leading green city by requiring triple glazed windows on all new buildings, by requiring all buses and trucks in the city to be electric by 2024 in order to reduce air and noise pollution, by providing dedicated lanes and street parking for electric vehicles, and by requiring recharging stations in all garages and all gas stations. 4. Ensure that all city prisons have effective, high-quality rehabilitation services covering education and psychological assistance. There is no excuse for the high recidivism rate in our nation. If all public schools and prisons were well run, we wouldn't have a serious crime, violence, and recidivism problem. Insist that all state and federal prisons provide high-quality educational and psychological rehabilitation. 5. Recognize that gun control is not the solution for ending violent crime. Heroin and cocaine are illegal, yet readily available on the black market. The same goes for guns. The way to end gun violence is for every child to get a great education, to have attractive after-school activities all year long, to have psychology and group therapy classes from junior high school through high school, to have highly competent neighborhood policing, to have a strong economy with very low unemployment, and for the city to have socially productive employment programs for those unable to find employment in the private sector. 6. Eliminate the practice of placing welfare and homeless housing in residential neighborhoods. That is unfair to residents, degrading their neighborhoods and reducing the value of their housing. And it is uneconomic for the city. All welfare and homeless housing must be located in dedicated areas outside of established residential neighborhoods and provided with high-quality educational and social services. 7. Create a New York City Beautification Corps dedicated to beautifying our parks, plazas, subway stations, sidewalks, and roadsides. For example, the roads to LaGuardia and Kennedy are in great need of high-quality landscaping. And create a New York City Youth Tutor and Mentor Corps for our students in academic difficulty. 8. Multiply the number of swimming pools in the parks, making them beautiful and well-run for the city's residents. Turn the Central Park Reservoir into a swimming area with various high-quality beach establishments, some for families with children, others for adults only. Multiply well-designed cafes in the parks, open till late at night. Ensure safety in the parks 24/7. 9. Continue beautifying New York City's riverfronts with landscape promenades. 10. Eliminate the hotel occupancy tax. There is no reason for any hotel tax beyond the normal sales tax. We want to encourage tourism, not discourage it by making it more expensive. 11. Clean up the Hudson River and the East River so that they are good for fishing and even swimming. 12. Have annual high-profile citywide competitions for all students and schools in sports and the arts, as well as in all academic subjects, including economic forecasting and portfolio management. Economics and stock and bond market investing must be taught for 4 years in all public high schools, since we need an economically and financially literate population. 13. Have high-quality public preschool and daycare. This is not only essential for child development, but it also enhances the economy by freeing parents of young children to work. 14. Have school adoption programs for abandoned pets. 15. Repeal New York City, New York State, and federal capital gains taxes, thereby eliminating the use of economically counterproductive, distorting tax shelters. We need to encourage, not penalize, economic growth, investments, and risk-taking. Economic growth leads to more employment, more consumer spending, and more sales tax revenues. 16. Repeal New York City, New York State, and federal estate taxes, which are not only of questionable morality, since confiscatory of already taxed earnings, but are counterproductive, chasing away many wealthy residents, leading to lower sales and income tax revenues and lower real estate values. 17. The New York City public high school curriculum must include the following courses in order to have truly well-educated, well-rounded, well-adjusted citizens. 1. The United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations Charter, along with the history of human rights violations. 2. History of art, architecture, and design. 3. History of music. 4. 20th century history in detail, explaining the causes of World War I, the causes of the Great Depression, the causes of Nazism and communism, the causes of World War II, the causes of the Cold War, why the Soviet Union collapsed, why communism ended, why tensions remain between the free world democracies respecting human rights and Russia and China, the causes of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the causes of Islamic terrorism. 5. Comparative religion, reading the texts of the holy books and the history of the main religions. 6. Introductory law, with emphasis on constitutional law. 7. Logic. 8. Philosophy and ethics. 9. Economics. 10. Financial investing in stocks, bonds, commodities, and currencies. 11. Marketing and advertising. 12. Psychology, including the causes of drug addiction and alcoholism, of bullying, of depression, of alienation. 13. Current events and opinion, from various leading media sources, such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the PBS NewsHour, and the Charlie Rose Show. 14. Foreign languages and cultures, starting in elementary school, and fluency required by the end of high school in at least one and preferably 2 foreign languages. 15. World geography combined with concise national histories. This liberal arts curriculum may seem too demanding and too ambitious, but it's not. It's essential. 18. Institute a prestigious, demanding Mayor's High School graduation test with scholarships to City College for all students obtaining A grades on the test. 19. We must greatly improve the New York City public schools while subjecting them to competition with a voucher system. Competition brings out the best in everybody. Everything will be done to make the public schools extremely competitive and successful, and public school funding per attending pupil will not be decreased. But our public schools must prove their worth in a competitive environment. Public schools which are not competitive will gradually lose students to charter or private schools. What must be clear is that the best interest of New York City students comes first. Our students must get nothing but the most excellent education, second to none in the world. We cannot waver on this crucially important moral and social commitment. By implementing the above platform, in less than 1 generation, our problems of grossly inadequate public school education, poverty, violence, and drug addiction alcoholism in New York City would be practically eliminated. Economic and social prosperity would soar, and tax rates would be cut dramatically. It's tragic we've waited so long to do what is necessary. Practically no progress has been made since the war on poverty was proclaimed in the mid-1960s by Lyndon Johnson due to incompetent leadership by both Democrats and Republicans. With competent leadership, widespread poverty would have been ended a generation ago. I hope to have been persuasive and that you'll give me your enthusiastic support. Lofty, seemingly unrealizable goals can be achieved when you know exactly what to do and are determined to succeed. In a democracy, it's all in the hands of you, the voters. Never go for candidates with empty slogans and vague platforms, a sure sign that they have no solutions. Seek out and support political candidates with convincing, logical, detailed platforms offering specific, real, workable, lasting solutions, even if they don't have name recognition. Do your best to help them gain name recognition. An online written version of this platform is posted on my Medium site. You can follow me on Twitter at Edward Sonino and see my profile on LinkedIn. And you can contact me by writing to my email address, edwardsonino2017nyc@yahoo.com. That's spelled EDWARDSONNINO 2017nyc@yahoo.com. Remember, if you really like my platform and believe it would truly lead to solving our problems of poverty and violence while greatly enhancing New York City's economy, leading to much lower taxes, and making it the most beautiful and livable city, help publicize my platform and volunteer to help my candidacy. Thank you for your attention.